my name is Alana Bossi.
And I'm Adam Fetzer.
And we met back in 2005 when we went to high school together.
And we were just basically passerbyers. We had a few classes, I think 2 classes together, sophomore and senior year in high school. But we always just passed each other at the high school, not really paying our minds.
We officially started hanging out more in senior year, like he was saying, and just started to really get to know each other. In fact, we shared lunch together, and before school, before first period, we would sit together in the hallway, and, you know, our cars were even practically 5 inches away from each other in the parking lot. It's just crazy, like, how we met and how we got to know each other, and it's just, I was always dating someone else. I was always not available, but we were, you know, we would always be friends, me and Adam, and we would talk and get to know each other. So, and even in senior year, we went to the military ball together.
Yep, the NJROTC ball at the Cherry Point, what was it, the Lodge Center? Yes.
Yeah.
That was actually my very first date with anyone ever. And it was on Valentine's Day.
It was on Valentine's Day.
It was on Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
or the weekend of. Matters not. But it was just very wonderful, and she looked so beautiful in her dress, and I just felt like the luckiest man in the world.
So we didn't start dating though until after high school. So we didn't start dating officially until after high school in 2009 when we graduated.
Because I was so narrow-minded and such an idiot, I couldn't tell that she was giving me signs that she was interested, as most guys have that same problem with as well.
So fast forward a few years, about 2013, we're still together, and we find out that his father is actually building 2 houses on the same property, and we were interested in renting from him.
It's pretty decent square foot. It's 1650 square foot, and beautiful layout of the area. Has an in-ground pool, and it was still close to the hometown that we grew up with and hung out with. In fact, while we were still living with our parents, we were actually 5 minutes away from each other. Didn't realize that till much later.
Yeah, it's crazy how God has a way of working through people and working through situations. We, like you said, his house was on the same stretch of road that my house was on. I mean, it couldn't have been like a mile or 2 miles away from each other.
Not even a 2-minute drive. I mean, there was hardly any traffic from it, yeah.
So in 2014, we were living in what they call the mother-in-law suite while the bigger house was being built. So on Valentine's Day, again, a very significant date for us, signifying pretty much our first real date and special, you know, just the special connection that we had with that day. So on Valentine's Day of 2014, he really took me by surprise.
Yep, I tried to take her out to dinner. Last-minute reservations was a horrible idea, but hey, it's just one of those memories that you just file away. But we still got a table. We still had a wonderful dinner, and I basically took her into the interior of the house that was still being under construction. And I asked her if she could imagine this as a forever home, and she would say yes while her back was towards me. And then when I got on my knee and showed her the ring, then I asked her when she was looking at me, do you think this would be a wonderful forever home for us? And again, she said yes, and thank God too.
So fast forward, and we are now in 2015, of course, and we are planning our wedding. We have set the date officially for June the 11th of 2016. Now you might be sitting there scratching your heads thinking, well, that's plenty of time. But really, in reality, it's just not. And we might look young, but I mean, that's the point. That's the point that I'm trying to make. I'm young, but I understand what it takes to make a wedding happen. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of talking to each other, and it takes a lot of money, and it might even consider taking compromise. And that's something that we're dealing with right now.
And basically, as you could see from down here, is basically our planning stages. We basically got venues, catering, flower arrangements, and I don't think I'm getting a good. There you go.
It's just covered with stuff.
It's just so.
It's just we are in complete disaster zone right now. So this is our disaster kitchen. It's also littered with tons of wedding stuff, and as you can see, it's just, like I said, a disaster zone. A lot of this stuff just completely goes without mention because we're so focused on the wedding. We have barely enough time to clean the house, to get things organized, and to really, just pay attention to ourselves even. This is our beautiful master bedroom and our master bath, and as you can see, this isn't even working, operating at all. It could be, but this is completely exposed, and it's a beautiful bathtub that has jets inside of it, but we've been just so swamped, we haven't been able to ask his father to help us fix it, and it's not his father's fault either that we can't get it fixed. So that's just to show you, like, some of the things that just are going unnoticed around our house. Things that we should be able to enjoy, but we can't because the wedding has just completely overtaken our situation.
And basically, here's our lovely pool, as you could tell by the greenery of it. We just had so little time to even try to take care of it and clean it and give it the proper chemicals and TLC that it needs. However, to my surprise, this was actually a whole lot worse. It actually collapsed on itself, the liner caved in, and the vermiculite just completely caved in, and it was just all kind of god-awful. But hopefully this is still in a standard location. Neighbors' dogs are going like crazy, but hopefully this too shall pass.
So thank you again for listening to our story. I just really wanted to take a moment to kind of talk a few more, just to wrap things up and to tell you an overview. This is our life, and this is our wedding, and we're going to try and plan it to the best of our abilities. But we really need help, and I know that this could probably go to someone more deserving, but I mean, I'm going to try my best anyway. We work so hard. I work at a restaurant with crazy hours. I'll come home at midnight some nights, and he's in bed, or I'm sleeping in bed, and he comes home at midnight because he actually volunteers as the firefighter at our local fire department. So as you can imagine, our hours are insane. We almost never see each other. We almost never spend time with each other, except if it's like planning for the wedding. And so I don't blame him at all for being busy, for not being able to help me with most of the planning. It's mostly just been me planning for the wedding. My mother and my mother-in-law just, riding around and going to different venues. I mean, he's been such a great help. He comes with me when he can to different venues, and we have finally picked our venue, which is going to be a beautiful location. But that's just some of the things to give you an idea of what we're going through. In fact, we don't even have a church right now. We don't have a building to get married in. I would love nothing more than to get married in a beautiful church, in a beautiful chapel, but it's just not possible right now because our pastor doesn't have a church. We do have a building, but as you can imagine, getting married in a building isn't the ideal location. But our pastor is wonderful, and he's going to come out and actually do our wedding for us at a discounted price because he knows how we're struggling right now. We are just living week to week and, day to day on tip money from the restaurant or on our paychecks. And I'm not sure about anywhere else in the country, but in Newport of North Carolina, where we live, his fire station actually doesn't pay him except for 2 times a month, bi-monthly. So that's it. That's all we're living on. And we're hardly living, if you can even call it that. But we love each other so much. I was even working on my self-vows. I wrote a poem, and that poem is going to be like my vows. What I want to say and what I want to promise to him. And what I want to promise to myself. So Thank you very much for watching this video, getting to know a little bit about us, getting to know a little bit of our situation, some of the things that we're struggling with, money, finances, worrying about how many guests we're going to invite and how we're going to feed those guests. This butterfly pavilion doesn't have a kitchen. It doesn't have a place to keep food warm. But if we choose the right caterer, or if we can have help with finding a good caterer, they might be able to bring their own sort of like mobile kitchen with them. We don't have a DJ. I was just going to plug in my laptop and let my playlist play music. We don't even have a professional DJ to do that. We don't even have really professional photographers. We have friends and family members that are just going to do that for us. We have a family member who's actually going to bake our wedding cake for us because we don't have the money to pay professional people for all of our stuff. We're going to ask our guests to bring their own drinks or their own beer, their wine, even soda, bring their own drinks so we can save money as much as humanly possible. And I just feel like we're so close to even compromising on some of these things because we can't afford some of these things. And that's why mostly our parents are fighting about this, because they feel like we aren't going to be able to provide. So it's just stress after stress after stress, and I pray to God that we'll be able to make it. And hopefully we will, and I believe that we will, but it's nice to have that help. It's nice to have that security, knowing that we've got this, that God's got this, and that with all the help we can make it. Because truthfully, with all of our helping combined, my parents, his parents, me helping, him paying, we still don't have enough for our budget, and I just don't know how we're going to pull it off. I mean, looking up online, weddings cost about $20,000 or something like that. Just a normal run-of-the-mill wedding. And the budget that they set for us, that my parents and his parents set for us, isn't going to cover that. So I'm just scared. And I'm not asking for like a diva Hollywood wedding. I'm not asking for any of that. I just want to know and be secure and actually be able to plan and be happy about what we're planning and what we're doing. But again, this has been long enough, so thank you for watching, and please take us into consideration. Thanks again. Bye.